This is a very exciting video for us for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's our first new recipe and video of the school year. Number two, as you can see, we have a new filming space and we're finally getting settled into it. And I am so excited that I'm able to provide better content for you going forward the rest of this school year. Now, our recipe this week I got from one of my personal favorite YouTube food channels. It's called Pasta Grammar, and I'll include a link to the original content down in the description. But Pasta Grammar does an incredible job of teaching very traditional Italian recipes in a very approachable way. Because the more you cook, the more you realize you really don't need to make it that complicated. And a lot of the dishes from Pasta Grammar are very simple and use real fresh whole foods. And this week's recipe is really exciting because it hits the big three for a Tucson Family Food Project recipe. Number one, it's cheap. Number two, it's easy. Number three, it's delicious. And the really cool thing about this dish is that you can use whatever you have around you. So for this recipe, we're gonna base it off of the original. So we're gonna use zucchini and onions, but you can really use whatever you have in your fridge. So if you have veggies that are kind of getting old or you don't know what to do with them, cut them up, put some salt and pepper on them, let them release their liquids, and you can make this recipe using whatever you have. So thank you so much to Ava and Harper. I hope that we do you justice, although we did change a couple things because just like we teach the kids, we use what we have. So let's get into it. To make this week's recipe, all you're gonna need is a baking sheet, a large wooden spoon or spatula, and a large bowl. And in your meal kit this week, you'll find 14 ounces of shredded zucchini, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, about half a yellow onion, a spice mixture with 1 teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and a cup of marinara on the side for dipping. So to start this recipe, all we're gonna do is dump your bag of zucchini into your large bowl, making sure that you get out any liquid that's in that bag. That is a very important part of this recipe. Make sure it is in the bowl. Then we're just gonna put our onions in there as well, and we're gonna put in all of our seasoning mixture. We're gonna give it a good stir, and then we're gonna let this sit for 35 to 45 minutes, or until the vegetables release all of their juices. And here's what that 45 minutes looks like in 3 seconds. Now it's kind of hard to tell, but the veggies released a ton of juice. If you look here, you can see all of that liquid that came out, and that's just from the salt that's in there, pulling all of that moisture out of the vegetables. That is exactly what we want to see. So now I'm going to pour in about half of my extra virgin olive oil, and then I'm going to give this a good mix. Okay, now that all of my olive oil is mixed in, I'm gonna start adding my flour. So we have 2 cups of flour in this recipe, but we might not need all of it. So I'm gonna start with a little bit more than half, and then I'm gonna play with it until I get the consistency that I want. I kinda want it to be like glue or like paste that you might have made when you were a kid, just with flour and water. We want it to be sticky, and so we're gonna play with the amount of flour in here until we get it just right. So as I'm stirring it here, I can tell that there's just a little bit too much liquid left in there. So I'm gonna put some more flour in and keep playing with this. I might not use all of the flour, but we'll kind of find out. It's all gonna depend on how much moisture the vegetables release with the salt and how long you let them sit. All right, so I have my dough at about the consistency that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and grease up my baking sheet. To do this, all I'm going to do is pour about half of my remaining oil into the pan, and then I'm going to use my fingers to spread it around, and this is going to make sure that once we bake this, it doesn't get stuck to the pan. All right, now that our baking sheet is nice and greased up, we're gonna put our dough in here into a nice flat layer. I'm gonna use my spoon to spread it out. The size of your pan doesn't really matter. If it's bigger and you can spread it out further, it'll just be a little bit thinner. If it's smaller, it'll just be a little thicker and you might need to cook it a little extra, but really it doesn't matter, and you can kind of play with this as you make this dish in the future. Now the last thing I'm going to do before I pop this in the oven is drizzle our remaining olive oil all over the top. Now this is going to go into an oven at 395 degrees for 45 minutes. And because of the magic of editing, here is our finished product. You can see these little crispy ends here. They look a little burnt, but they're actually really delicious. They're super crunchy and good. So that's about what yours should look like. All right, now it's time for my favorite part of these videos, the taste test. So here is our Scarpaccia. It looks really good. As I'm looking at it, I can tell I probably should have added a little bit more flour to this to make it a little bit more bread-like, but it looks really good, and the smell of baking this is just incredible. It's like the best thing you can do to make your house smell good. And also, not in the original recipe, something we're adding in is a little side of dipping sauce, which is not traditional, but is really delicious. So here we go. That's good. That is so good, and that is so simple. Just like what, 4 ingredients: onions, zucchini, olive oil, flour, plus some salt and pepper. And this is just such a great way of using veggies that you have in your house already, like stuff that might be starting to go out or starting to go bad. Cut them up into little pieces, shred them up, throw some salt in there, let them release their juices, add some flour and make it into a bread. This way you can minimize waste in your house while still making delicious food. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, please visit us at www.ttffp.org to learn all about how we're fighting childhood food insecurity. It's a truly unique approach using YouTube to teach kids how to cook food for themselves in their own home, and I am so happy to tell you that our program is working. And we want to keep growing, but we need your help. So please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I love, appreciate, and respect all of you, and I will see you right back here next week with another delicious recipe. So until then, peace.